It's the middle of the week and you're sitting at the kitchen table with your child. The backpack is open and there it is. Silence. But not the peaceful kind, the heavy kind. Your fourth grader is staring at their notebook with their head in their hands. Or have they gone to the bathroom for the third time in 10 minutes? Anything to avoid opening that book. If you're a working mom, you are tired. You want to help, but you don't know how. You see your child struggling to keep up, and you're worried because the gap seems to be getting wider, not smaller. Today, we're talking about taking control. I'm going to teach you how to use Orton Gillingham method right at your kitchen table, all without needing a PhD in education, because you can help your child using Orton Gillingham at home. Well, hello everyone. My name is Tracy Young, OG tutor extraordinaire, founder of theliteracykeys.com, and most importantly, mom of a dyslexic daughter. Welcome to my podcast, where you'll discover ways to unlock your child's reading potential. I'll share tips, strategies, and war stories that have happened along the way, because everyone deserves to be able to read. So let's get started. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Literacy Keys. I'm Tracy Young. I'm an Orton Gillingham trained, ALTA certified practitioner. More importantly, I'm a mom who's been exactly where you are. I felt the fear, and I fought the legal battles with schools for accommodations. First, let's talk about why you're seeing the struggle now. In the education world, it's called the fourth grade slump. Because up until the third grade, children are learning to read. But suddenly, somewhere between the third and the fourth grade, the switch flips and the children now have to read to learn. The words get longer, the print gets smaller, and the pictures disappear. If your child struggles to read, this is when things become complicated, because children no longer can memorize their way through school. So what's the solution? Now, you've heard me mention Orton Gillingham, or OG for short, in previous episodes. Definitely sounds technical, kind of like a medical procedure, but it's actually a way to help your child. Reading instruction, unfortunately, at many schools is based on memorizing sight words. The Orton Gillingham method is based on structure, logic, and multiple senses. Think of the English language perhaps like a giant, messy pile of Lego bricks. Most kids just grab handfuls and hope they'll stick together. Dyslexic kids need the instructional manual, even if they're only looking at the pictures. They need to know why the blue brick connects to the red brick. The Orton Gillingham method is a specific instruction manual. It connects the sounds we hear with the letters we see and the movements we make when writing. And it's all done through multiple senses in order to retain the information and move it into long-term memory. Now, when I founded the Literacy Keys in 2025, my mission was simple: help struggling readers. But let's face it, I can't tutor every child in the world, so empowering parents became critical. Every episode is designed to empower you, the parent. So grab a pen. I'm going to give you some Orton Gillingham methods that you can use tonight. Think of it like Orton Gillingham at home. So let's talk about the first strategy. Make it messy. Now, one of the biggest mistakes parents make is relying only on one sense. If your child is struggling, their brain processing might be overwhelmed. So we need to open a back door to the brain, and we can do this by using their hands. First, however, we need to explicitly teach a concept. Then, when we use the different senses to practice the concept, it'll make more sense. Now, let's be specific. Say your child keeps misspelling the word catch. They'll leave out the T in catch. There are at least 2 pieces of spelling knowledge that your child needs to have in order to spell this word. Since they're using the letter C at the beginning of the word, it appears they know the rule of when to use a C versus a K for the initial K sound. But next, you need to know if they're familiar with when to use trigraph TCH and when to use digraph CH when you hear the ch at the end of the word. Most children have never been taught the rule, so we really can't expect them to internalize this information. Before you can ask them to spell these words, they need to be taught that the sound ch at the end of the word can be spelled in 2 ways, CH and TCH. Now the rule is, if the ch is the final sound, it's a 1-syllable word, and there's a short vowel right before the sound, then we spell it with trigraph TCH. And a trigraph are 3 letters that make 1 sound. If these 3 conditions don't happen, then we spell it with digraph CH. This information is critical. Otherwise, your child is simply guessing. So first we teach them the rules. Then we practice the rules, and that involves spelling words that end in TCH or CH so that they can get practice with all the information. Does it have this? Does it have this? Does it have this? Then I spell it this way. And this is where you involve the different senses. Instead of simply writing words with a pencil on narrow-lined paper, which no one really likes doing that, have them use their finger on a scratchy towel. Let me show you or explain what it would look like. You ask them to spell the word catch. You pound to determine how many syllables are in the word catch. 1 syllable. Then you start with the first syllable. In this case, there's only 1 syllable. And you use your fingers to break apart the sounds. Catch. K, a, ch. I'm hearing 3 sounds. The k can be spelled in 2 ways, depending upon the vowel that is after the k sound. Since the sound is a short A, we use the letter C. We just said that the A is a short A, and now we get to the final ch sound. And as I mentioned earlier, there are 2 ways to spell it. It's catch. It's a 1-syllable word with a short vowel right before the ch. So we are going to use trigraph TCH. Your child then says the letters while writing C, A, T, C, H on the towel. When they're first practicing the rule, you may want to do it with them using a whiteboard. This adds a visual component to the touch of when they are writing on the towel. And with enough practice, your child will not need you to simultaneously write it on a whiteboard. They will get to the point where they can internalize the information. But it can take time because you may have to repeat it 100 times before it truly moves into long-term memory. So 5 times is probably not going to be sufficient. It's practiced over and over with multiple senses. And this is where being a parent requires patience. Now, why does this Orton Gillingham method work? Because you're firing multiple parts of the brain together. You have the visual, they see the letters on the whiteboard. You have the auditory, they hear their own voice saying the sounds. And you have the kinesthetic, they feel the drag of the towel on their finger. This is what is multisensory. And it's what makes Orton Gillingham tutors so effective as dyslexia tutors. With enough repetitions, the information moves into long-term memory. And best of all, it turns a boring spelling list into a tactile experience that is logical. Let's talk about the next strategy. Break down big words. There's a reason that your 5th grader looks at the word entertainment and guesses entrance, entire, or some variation thereof. Too often, a child sees a multisyllabic word, panics, and starts guessing. They see the word as one long, big, scary monster. And what we need to do as parents is teach them how to chop the monster into pieces. Using Orton Gillingham at home, we teach syllable division. There's a way for you to teach your child to break the word into syllables using word pyramids. Think of the syllable as the heartbeat of the word, and every syllable has to have a sounded vowel. So let's take the word entertainment. First, you would show the first syllable on one line, N. You have your child sound it out. Then you uncover the next line with the first and second syllables, N, and I like to use a slash in between the syllables, and ter. You have your child sound out the new syllable, ter, and then you have them say it together, enter. Next, you uncover the next line, which would be the third line, which has three syllables, n/ter/tain. You sound out the syllables and say them together. At this point, they only have to sound out the last one, tain. Then you uncover the next line with all four syllables, n/ter/tain/ment. In the show notes, I'll put a link to the blog, which actually shows how you create a word pyramid and stack it. And you can do this with any multisyllabic word. This helps struggling readers understand that the word entertainment is really made up of four tiny syllables, n, ter, tain, ment. By revealing one syllable at a time, it reduces anxiety instantly. You aren't teaching them to read faster. You're teaching them to process logically. Best of all, you're acting like an expert dyslexic tutor and building their confidence. Now let's try another word and provide guided instruction for that, because that really is the foundation of Orton Gillingham. And you need to incorporate that if you're going to be using Orton Gillingham at home. We build the word pyramid for the word caterpillar using 4 lines. We have cat on one line. You have cat/er on the second line. You have cat/er/pill on the third line. And then you have cat/er/pill/lar on the fourth line. Now, one of the keys that I just mentioned to using Orton Gillingham at home is to provide systematic instruction. In a layman's term, this means you don't introduce words without teaching the concepts that are included in the word. So, for the word caterpillar, your child needs to know about closed syllables, the sound that the letter C makes when there is an A after it, combination ER and AR, and stress. So all of that information needs to have been introduced and discovered prior to being able to read the 4-syllable word. Now, specifically, a closed vowel ends in a consonant, and it makes the vowel say the short sound. Combination ER says and combination AR actually has 2 pronunciations depending upon if the syllable is stressed or not. When the syllable is stressed, then it says R as in star, and when the syllable is not stressed, it says So you show the first syllable, cat, and you mention that this is a closed syllable. So the A says ah. The C has 2 sounds depending upon the letter that comes after it. This is an A, so the C will say k. The T says t. We blend the sounds, we have cat. Now you would show the next line with 2 syllables. cat/er. I like to include a slash between the syllables to separate them. You only give guided instruction for the second syllable. This is a vowel R syllable type. Combination ER says Let's blend the first and second syllables, cat-er. Now you're ready to go on and show the third line with 3 syllables and provide guided instruction for the last syllable. Okay, this is a closed syllable because it ends in a consonant. The I will be short. It says I, ill, pill. Blending the 3 syllables, we have cat-er-pill, catcher-pill. At this point, they were probably going to guess caterpillar, but go through because you have combination AR. Now let's look at the 4th syllable, which is also a vowel R syllable. Combination AR has 2 pronunciations depending upon which syllable is stressed. Let me show you that the stress is on the first syllable with a minor stress on the 3rd syllable. That means the combination AR is unstressed. So it will say Now let's blend everything together. Caterpillar. Great. If you want to see this written out, head over to the Literacy Keys and check out the blog post showing what a word pyramid looks like. I'll provide a link in the show notes. I agree. That is a lot of guided instruction that eventually your child will internalize once they reach automatic recall. Honestly, that's part of the reason that dyslexia tutors are expensive. I hope these tips showcasing a few of the Orton Gillingham methods that dyslexia tutors use are helpful, but they're simply the tip of the iceberg. I recognize that hiring an OG tutor can be expensive, and it can cost over $100 a week. But I also know that not every family has the financial means for that, so other solutions are needed. That is why I'm currently building something to empower parents. I'm developing a dedicated online course, which will eventually be an app specifically designed to teach you how to teach your child to spell. It's a 6-week challenge called Unlock the Spelling Code. The focus is on the spelling because it's a vital piece of the puzzle that helps unlock reading and is often ignored. I'm looking for a small group of parents to beta test the first 2 weeks of the challenge. If you are a parent of a struggling speller who is ready to roll up their sleeves and try these spelling lessons with their children, I want to hear from you. I'll leave a link to the page with the information in the show notes so you can secure your spot. They're going quickly, so check it out. Now, before you leave, here's your challenge for tonight. Take a long word that your child struggles to read, just one. Break it apart visually using a word pyramid structure that I shared in the episode. Watch as your child goes from frustrated to feeling accomplished. So if you want to be one of the 10 beta testers for my new spelling course, go to the show notes and fill in the form. It'll only take a minute. And if you haven't already, please follow this podcast. Until our next episode, au revoir. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to the Literacy Keys podcast. Follow us on social media, and most importantly, tell a friend. See you next week.